my name is Demmy. I graduated from UC Berkeley a little bit over a decade ago. So it's been a while. Then after that, I got a master's and finishing up this year my PhD at both at the University of Chicago. So that's my background in terms of where I've graduated from, where I've studied. A little bit more about myself. I also have an interest, of course, in academia. I studied history for my bachelor's, for my master's, and for my PhD. So I mostly study things like history of science, history of institutions. So that's a bit of my background. I also like to read and write a lot of fiction, science fiction and fantasy. Those are my things. So interestingly, my first job was as a college consultant in training. So after I graduated from Berkeley, I moved to South Korea with a job as an academic / college consultant. So I worked with a lot of students in Seoul who attended either international schools in South Korea or boarding schools in the U.S., but who were from Korea to start their application process, particularly aiming top 20, top 15 schools. So that's how I started. I fell in love with it. I did that job for about 3 years and a half or so, and then I got into the PhD program. And I liked the job as a college consultant so much that I continued doing it throughout the entire PhD. Yeah, I think over the years I've accumulated a lot of success, particularly working with students in the STEM fields. I work with a lot of students in computer science, and I've seen a lot of success there. To name some very recent acceptances, I just had a student, REA, restrictive early action to Stanford, get accepted for computer science and anthropology. I had 2 early decision this round as well. Early decision 1, Carnegie Mellon computer science students. And in previous years, I've had a number of students get into all the top 10 computer science programs, but also top 10 schools, top 15, top 20 schools in the U.S. News ranking, studying computer science or biological sciences, engineering. Generally, the STEM students is whom I work with most, but also I have a very nice track record as well with business students. So this year I have 1 Wharton and 1 NYU Stern for early decision, and I hope to have plenty more in the regular round. I think one of the best things about having someone who's invested so much time in honing and developing skills in reading and writing, who at the same time has the knowledge of business, STEM-oriented programs at the college level, is that you have that combination of someone who's really good at creating narratives for students, really good at helping students find their voice, really good at also pushing the students into writing to make sure that they're writing compelling stories, particularly when you have a lot of competition and many students have very similar backgrounds. I think it's really important to have that that person from the outside who's a writer and a reader and who can contribute a lot into story, building a narrative for a student, particularly someone who's not very strong in the writing and all of that. So I think that combination of being a writing specialist, a narrative specialist, story specialist, and collaborating with students in the STEM business fields happens to be sort of like the merging of 2 fields that is my specialty. My very honest best advice is don't have a dream school. I don't think it's a great thing to have one idea for one school that you're really fixated on. But I understand that it happens, and I understand that a lot of students have a lot of interest. Obviously, one very key component is to make sure that you start pretty early on understanding what the school is like. School, especially at the top level, have personalities. Schools at the very top level have certain profiles that they prefer over others. To give an example, the University of Chicago, for example, it is very clear the type of application that is looked upon favorably. If you are intellectually driven, but also quirky and interesting and have complex ideas that are outside the box, that's going to be rewarded by the University of Chicago. So you can do a lot in terms of the writing and the way you present yourself, but also building your profile. Have you done activities that represent or that reflect that level of quirk, that level of intellectual commitment, intellectual drive? So make sure that you are lining up yourself with your dream school. Hopefully it's organic. If it's your dream school, it should be because organically you match the vibe of the university. But that's the best advice I could give.